Bridget Bartlett here. So today I'm going to show you how to create groups inside of Google Workspace. Now, before we get into Google Workspace, let me explain to you what groups are and how you would actually use them or why you would even use them. So you can see in this example here, we have our main email address. Okay, now this could be sales@mybusiness.com. This could be info, whatever you wanted it to be, right? A lot of times on my website, I will use like the info at whatever domain it is. Um, so that I know when people are contacting me from that domain and email address that it is for that business. Okay. I also kind of like it to be generic. Now, what if you had an email address on your website, but you didn't just want to send it to one person? Okay. Maybe you have a team like sales team. You would want all of your sales emails to go to your sales team. Okay. But you don't want them each. I mean, you could easily forward the emails, but then what happens is, like in this scenario here, someone fills out the form and then it goes into an inbox here. Now, if we just forwarded, the email would go to Pam and the email would go to Jeff. Okay. But the problem is with that is what if Pam responds to that email and Jeff responds to that email? What if they say two different things, right? So now we're looking incredibly unprofessional and we're wasting a bunch of time in our business. So obviously, it would be better to have info that goes into a collaborative inbox where Pam and Jeff can log in with their own email addresses and then still have access to this group with these specific emails in here. So you could even have Pam and Jeff could have access to multiple groups, but they would be able to go to each group that they're working in at that time or that day and then respond to those emails there, and then they would be collaborating in that inbox. Okay, so that's really what the groups actually help us do inside of Workspace. Okay, so hopefully that explains a little bit about why we want groups. So inside of Workspace, what you would do is you would create a user with this email address. So we would create a user for Pam, we would create a user for Jeff, and then we would create a group email address that we're going to add Pam and Jeff to. Okay. So let's go into now, let me get out of this here and let's go into the Workspace account. And you can see here, we set all of this up already. So this is the same account that we've been working in. So if you missed any of the training, definitely go back and watch that from this week. So right now we just have this blank Workspace account and we have our one user. Okay. Now we also did add another domain to our website. So let's go to our Workspace account. So you can see we have our main domain, which is myvisioncrm.com. And then we have this other mybizlink.us. Now, these are not great domains to use for this use case, but I didn't want to purchase new domains just for this training. So these are some extra domains that I had just to use as an example. Okay. So we actually have both of these domains and we can have email addresses. And you can see if I go to my one user account here and I go to manage domains, you see that I have the domain there. If I go into my user, create alternate email addresses, I'm going to type in the user. Remember, we only have one here. And then you can see here in the alternate email addresses, we actually created an alternate email address for this user. So when I log in, or the Workspace admin logs into the Workspace, you can add multiple domains and multiple email aliases. Okay. But when you're working with a team, it's going to be just a little bit different. Okay. Because we're going to have multiple users. I'm actually going to, we're going to create a new user here. And I'm going to go ahead and just add new user. And this user, we're going to call, let's just say Jane Doe. Okay. So Jane Doe. And now we need an email address. Now we can choose Jane Doe to have an email address of Jane or sales or whatever, but really for users, you want to create an email address that's personal and specific to them. Okay. So here I could choose, since I have two domains here, I could choose which domain I want the email address to be on. Okay, so I'm just going to say myvisioncrm.com. Okay, now when we're choosing a secondary email address, we want to choose whatever like email that they're using right now. Okay, because they're going to be sending, they're going to be receiving the login credentials for this account to this email address. So if you think about this, it's like a recovery email, for example. So maybe it's a Gmail account. So we could say Jane Doe at gmail.com. And then we could also add Jane's phone number if we want to. Just so this doesn't go to anyone else, I'm going to say Jane Doe 5698 at Gmail. Okay. And now you can see here, this user will be assigned to Google Workspace Business License. And it's going to cost $21.60 because remember, whatever plan you're on, you have to pay for that user to have a plan. Okay. So for this case, I'm in a free trial. I'm not actually going to pay that, but I'm going to go ahead and click add new user. So now this new user, you can copy. This is the email address or the username. So when the new user, when Jane Doe gets her email address, it's going to say, you have been invited to your new Workspace account, and it's going to say that they need to log in as Jane at My Vision CRM, and then it will have a password here. And of course, you could print that, you could copy the password. You could also preview and send the email. So you can see here what email is actually going to go out. So it's going to go to the email that we put in here, like her Gmail personal email account. You can click this box and you can send the info to you as well if you wanted a reminder, but you can see what the email looks like here. Okay. And then of course you can choose send, and then it will go ahead and send Jane's login credentials to her own Google Workspace account within the Workspace admin. Okay, so when I say that, I mean Jane Doe being a user, she's not going to be able to access the admin dashboard. She's not going to be able to do a lot of the things that you can do as the admin because you are the super user admin that can do everything. And then you can decide what permissions Jane Doe is going to have. Okay, so I'm not going to send that because it's not actually going to anyone anyway, and I'm just going to click done. So you'll see here you have another opportunity to copy that username and password. Definitely, if you are creating this for a new user, it's definitely good to copy this down so that you have it. However, you could also go back to the homepage. If let's say that the user is like, I never received an email and you didn't copy it. All you would need to do is go to your users. So I'm going to go to manage, and you would go to Jane Doe's profile here inside, and then you would do reset password, and then you can automatically generate a password or you can create it for them, which I really like to do just to make it simple to log in, especially if you're going to call them and say, hey, just wanted to make sure you were able to access your email address. And if you are reading the password to them, it's easier to make it something that's easily typing in instead of all of the different, X and colon and pound sign and all of that stuff. So you may want to create it. And if you did create it, maybe you want them to be prompted to change their password when they log in. So you could keep that box checked there. Okay. So that's how you would want to change the password. But here inside of our users, you can see here that Jane Doe's profile, for example, me as the super user, I can actually log in here and I can create lots and lots of settings for the account. Okay, I can even allow or disallow them to be able to update their profile for the for their Google account. Okay, so lots of things that you can do to customize this user. So that's really important as well. So you'll see over here on the left-hand side that we have groups. Okay, so we're going to create a group for our business, and we can actually create several groups. Okay, so I'm going to create a group here. Let's just say sales. And for this group email, what I want to do is just create a sales at, and then I'm going to use the same domain. I could use a different one for, whatever reason, but since I have two domains in here, but I'm just going to stay consistent here. I'm going to say My Vision CRM, and we could add a group description. This is for the sales team of My Vision CRM. Okay. And now we're going to choose group owners. So we're going to search for the people who are actually going to own the group. If you're going to own the group as the super user, you don't need to put anything in here. If someone else, maybe Jane Doe, was going to be the owner of the group, I could put Jane Doe here, but I'm just going to leave it this way. You can choose for the labels. Okay, so this is mailing for email and distribution, but you also have this security option. So it says to easily identify and manage groups you apply policies to, such as access control, add the security label to them. Okay, so again, it may depend on whatever your business is. If it's really important that you be secure, maybe you're in the medical industry or IT or something like that, and you want to mark it secure, you can do that with all of the emails that come from this group. Okay, so I'm not going to mark that as secure. I'm just going to go ahead and click next. So just to recap here, what we're doing is we're creating an additional email address. Okay, and you can create, I'm almost positive it's unlimited groups, but you can create whatever email address that you need to for this group, and it's not actually costing you like to create a new user. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and click next. Now here you can choose, basically these are some defaults here. So if you want public access, so what you're doing is controlling what kind of access your members have. Okay, so it says external members can't view group members or search group content, because remember the cool thing about having a Google Workspace is that you're basically creating a Google account for your entire business. Okay, so you're creating like the admin. If you think about it like high level, we're the agency, right? And we're creating all of these sub accounts within our agency, and each of those sub accounts is like a user. Okay, so we want to determine what access we want them to have. So if we choose public, you can see all of the options here, and you can uncheck these if you wanted to. You could choose team, and you'll see all of the defaults here: announcements only, restricted, and then custom if you want to choose your own. Okay, now if you choose team, which most people will, it's important to know that when you do who can post, when they're talking about posting, it's actually talking about like inside of the email. So we probably want everyone to be able to post. Okay, so who can contact group owners? Do we want it to just be group owners, group managers, group members, the entire organization? Again, this is specific for your use case. These are just things that you want to consider. So who can view the conversations inside of this group inbox? Okay, we want to determine who can view those. Is it going to be group owners, group members, group managers, entire organization, and so on? Okay, who can post? Probably want to say everyone. Who can view members? So you want to select here. Maybe I don't want the entire organization to be able to view the members, and I could just uncheck that box there. So who can manage the members? Manage meaning add, invite, or approve. Maybe we want everyone. Maybe we just want the group owners to be able to do that. Who can join the group? Now remember, you are the super admin. Okay, so if you are not the group owner and you make someone else a group owner, you definitely want to consider, do you want them to be able to add members into that group, or do you want anyone to be able to be added into the group, or only people that you specifically invite? Most people will probably choose only invited users. And then you can also allow members outside of your organization. So when it says outside the organization, it means outside of any emails or any domains that you have inside your workspace. So I showed you that we have two. We have mybizlink.us and we have my Vision CRM. But what if you hire a freelancer that has like Jane Doe at gmail.com? Okay, if you want to be able to and allow Jane Doe at gmail.com to be able to access this group, not the user we just added, a different Jane Doe or John Doe or whatever you want to call him, then you can toggle this on, and this will allow external members outside of your domains to join the group. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Create Group. And you'll see here I have the option to add my sales members. I'm going to click there, and you can see I have no members here. But what I want to do is I want to actually add myself as a member. And I also want to add Jane Doe as the member. Okay. And I'm going to add to the group. All right, so you can see Jane Doe is the member here. I could change Jane Doe to the owner or the manager if I wanted to. Um, and you can also see that I now am the admin here. So we're both members and no one is the owner, right? Because really it's the super user that's the owner. But I can say, let's just make uh, me the owner. Okay, so again, when you do that, you definitely want to save down here. Okay, so inside of this group, you can see all of the settings here. Okay, so I can rename the group, I can add members, I can bulk upload members, I have access settings. So if I need to edit any of the settings, I can click here and you'll see it takes me right back to that screen that we were working in. You also can click here for group sharing info. For example, this option here. Do you want to access the groups outside? We'll say private. Creating groups. Anyone in the organization can create groups. So this is all the group creation settings here. Okay. So now, if we want to go into this group we just created, okay, we can go up here into, just click the 9 dots there. And if you scroll down, you'll see groups. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click into the groups. And you can see that I have this group right here. And if I click into that, you'll see that now I have no conversations in here, okay, because no one has sent this group an email. Now, if I open up another account here, let me move this over to the side so I don't expose my emails, but I'm going to actually go ahead and send an email from my Gmail account to this group so that, so it's sales at myvisioncrm.com. Okay, we're going to say test and send. Okay, so I should receive an email here into the sales. And something else that's cool, you can go to your Gmail account. So this is my Gmail account for this user. Hopefully I received that because this is a brand new account. There we go. Okay, so I sent this email. It showed up here. Now if I go into my groups here, go into the sales group, you'll see that it shows up here as well. Okay, so it's 2 different places. Now, of course, if that was too confusing for my members or for my users, there are many customizations, again, that you can use. You could also use the label option to kind of move this to another label. And so you're organizing here. I have training on that I talked about earlier in the week as well. But this is really, this is the magic of groups, okay? Because each member, even though I'm logged in as one email address, right? I don't have to, and I can check my own emails here in this inbox. But if I want to check the emails for the group, I can go to groups and then you'll see all of the groups that you have and then you can click into each group, okay? Now you also have different group settings here as well. So if I click here for group settings, you can change the name, change the email here. You can also add a welcome message. So maybe we want to say welcome to the sales team inbox. Maybe we want to make this larger here. Let's just say large. And let's actually make this like red. And let's make the text white just so that it stands out really well. We'll just say white. Okay, so we're going to add welcome to the sales team inbox. We can make this collaborative, which we would if we wanted to collaborate our team there. We could also enable shared labels for this group if we want to create them and then they be able to use them as well. We can choose who can see the group, organization members, who can join the group, invited users, organization users only, or organization users can ask. Allow external members. You can decide, do you want to turn that off or on? Who can view conversations? Maybe I just want group members. Who can post? We can say everyone. Who can view members? Maybe I only want group owners to do that, so I can just check that. We can choose our member privacy, so identification required for new members, either display name or organization profile, display name profile, or organization profile only. We can choose who can contact group owners. So maybe we just only want group members to be able to do that. Who can view member email addresses? Maybe we want group members to do that. Posting policies. So do we want to allow email posting to let members reply from their email client? Check this. Otherwise, the only way to make posts will be to use the web UI. Okay. So if we want to allow that, we just check that box. Allow web posting, check that box. Conversation history. We want to decide who can turn on or off the conversation history. Maybe we just want group owners. Okay. Who can attach files? We can say group members. Who can moderate content? Who can moderate metadata? Who can post in the group? Maybe we want this. Maybe we want this. So definitely so many settings. This is what I'm saying. You can really customize this for so many use cases because you have so many options, but it can also be really overwhelming. Like I did not even know before diving into all of this that groups existed or even labels existed, even though I've been with Workspace for like 10 years. I just never needed to know that, and I never investigated it, and now I'm so glad that I do. So we could also choose the default sender. Okay, so when our members of this group are sending sending an email, like maybe replying, okay, do we want the author's address to show or the group address? I would say the group address, but maybe not. So again, it's your choice. Message moderation. Do you want the members to be able to no moderation, moderate messages for non-members, or moderate for all members? So you just have tons and tons of features here. New member restrictions, spam message handling. A lot of people will turn on the post suspicious messages to the group because sometimes your email thinks that an email is spam and really it's something that's really important that you need to get access to. So you may want to just choose post suspicious message to the group. That way you can decide whether you want to mark it spam or not. Rejected message notification. We have email options here. Do you want to add a subject to your email? So this is actually really cool. It automatically adds text to the beginning of each email subject to identify group messages. So what you would want to do is surround the prefix with brackets. Okay, so if I wanted to create this here for sales so that every time an email gets sent from this address, which we chose sales at myvisioncrm.com, maybe I want to do the bracket and I want to do sales and then do the bracket again, and then it will prefix the subject of the email. So if the subject of the email was you made a commission, it would say sales, you made a commission. Okay, so that's would be in the subject line. All right, so do you want to include a standard group footer? So this is what it looks like here, or do you want to add your own custom footer and then you can add that there? Okay, so we could just use the group. Group email message, pretty self-explanatory. Do you want auto replies, so respond automatically to incoming email messages? You could choose that. Post replies to the all group members, and so on. Conversation mode. So do you want the group messages into threads by subject? You could choose on, and then of course, who can manage the members, who can modify custom roles, and then you can create custom roles, and then of course you could delete the group. And then of course, once you're done, you want to save all of your different settings, and those settings are for this specific group only. Okay, so you could create those settings for, different settings for all the different groups that you create. Okay, so now our emails, when they come into this email address, it's going to both go to the personal inbox. So this is the inbox of admin at myvisioncrm.com, but it's also going to go to the inbox of Jane at myvisioncrm.com. Okay, so both users are going to get that, but also you can go to the groups and then have them all organized by the different groups. Okay, so super, super useful when you're working with a team, especially if you need to have those like email buckets so that everyone can collaborate within their own email inbox. Okay, so Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone.